Oh, she's a coming. Mother. All right, got a new shirt on. Now that we're done making a big mess, got both the fork legs off. See, I think I may have said that earlier in this little demonstration here, how it's very difficult to do that particular job without making a mess. Well, that was a little bit more than ridiculous. So we got it all cleaned up. Look, it's all cleaned up. Let's go ahead and continue on with the disassembly here. Welcome to Saturday Sportster. Woo! Let's get going here. So, it looks like the one chinga came off in the turmoil. So we got to get this other one off of here. Oh geez, she's all jammed up. What the heck? Huh, look at that. She's stuck on there over top of the other one. That's not good. Oh my goodness freaking gracious. Hey, look out. Oh, look out. Oh, there she goes. Okay, here we go. One more whack. There it is. Okay, now she's free. Okay, so once again, spin her around until you find the little slot dealio. Give her a squeeze and pop her off of there. Seal off. And finally, the rusty crusty would look at that. Oh my goodness. That's pretty much junk. Okay. No harm, no foul. Okay. It's all good there. Okay, now we're gonna take the tubes out. But first, we gotta take these two nuts off the top. When you take those off, be careful. There's a lot of spring pressure on there. It's gonna go boing all the way across the shop. So let's lower the lift down. There's two ways to get these off of here. They are 1 3/8. You can either use a gigantic wrench like this and loosen them up, or if you have a socket, you can use a socket too. Let's use the socket. Now once again, they're going pretty easy, but watch what happens when we get to the end. Oh, hey, that wasn't so bad at all. Sometimes, I think it probably helps if you have the bottom off too, but sometimes doing this job, when you get to that last thread, she'll really boing on you. There we go. That went way better than I thought it was gonna go. Okay. Now, we'll go ahead and remove them off the motorcycle. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and remove these bushings out of here right now rather than waiting till this is on the workbench. There we go. Got these rubber baby buggy bumpers in here. Look at this. Well, we can wait to get that one out. I just wanted to get the metal one out because it's easier to push it out with it on there. We're gonna replace those anyway. Okay, so now we need a T45 Torx because that's what these fasteners are. And I'm gonna go ahead and loosen the top one first. And they are torqued. So hear that? Breaking the torque free. Now whatever you do, when you get to the bottom one, you gotta hold it. If you loosen that and you're not holding it, it could fall off. I know what you're thinking. I'm not holding it yet. I'm holding it now. I had to break it free with 2 hands. It's still kind of tight. Oh my goodness, that's real tight. Oh boy. And see that? It's slipping right out of there. Well, it doesn't look like it would have fallen off on the floor, but you still need to hold it. No, it was kind of catching on the other stuff I got dangling around there. Now, technically, I think we're going to go ahead and just leave these together until it's time to put this back together, and then we'll pull the spring out and we'll change our damper tubes, because remember I showed you those cool new damper tubes I have, and that's going to make our front end taller. So we'll just set these over to the side for now. No reason to take that apart. That was just more stuff hanging around. Oh my gosh, there's more fork oil. That stuff's everywhere. Repeat the process on the other side. And those should just slide right out of there like that. Oh, there's our other chinga. Okay. Great. Okay. Next thing, we're going to go ahead and remove the trees, because we're going to get those powder coated black. It's going to look cool. It's going to be cool black. So we got this big nut here. Can we get lucky and just guess? Oh, good guess. In case you're wondering, that's 15/16 that I guessed. So you're going to loosen that. Now, this pinch bolt, it should be on the stem. This is setting your bearing preload, so we should be able to safely remove this without the lower tree falling off. Should. And we can. Look at that. Hey, a little bit more corrosion going on there. I think we'll be replacing these. Whoa, that's dirty. I think we'll be replacing the caps and the center with the Lowbrow Customs radius ones. Those are pretty cool, and they come in our favorite color, black. Because that is, whoa, Nelly. That does not feel good. Oh boy. It's a good thing we're taking this apart, because it feels like the bearing was over tightened or something, because man, is that, it's like stays right there. It doesn't even move. Look at that. It's notchy as can be. So even though this was a low mileage bike, it did need some maintenance. We got another Torx head there, and then the top tree will come off, and you'll see how this mess works. Okay, see that's, oh, and look, it's not just coming off either, because something is wrong. Something is wrong. I would be safe to say, oh my gosh. There doesn't look like there's a drop of grease in there. Not even a little bit. Huh. And it's corroded. Oh, must be rubber hammer time. Hammer time. Oh my goodness. That should just come apart, but it's not. And obviously you don't want to be over that fork stop on the bottom there, because if this is hitting that, it won't come off. So you got to be over here. Oh my goodness gracious, stuck. All right, it's highly doubtful that your motorcycle is going to be like this if you've been riding it around. If you just bought it like we did, then you just don't know. What I've done is I've put the nut back into the threads, and I'm going to beat on it with a real hammer and see what happens. And there she goes. She's starting to come off now. I don't really see a problem with that. I didn't hurt anything. I don't know if we're going to have to, obviously this nut and washer's not letting it go down any further, and well, yeah, it's still stuck in that top bearing, but we'll see what happens here. We'll see if we have to switch to plan B or C. Yeah, the corrosion's got it stuck in the bearing. Let's go back to our rubber hammer and see what happens with that, because now that it's starting. Snap on. So I did get it to go down a little bit with the rubber hammer, but it's still stuck in the top bearing, I can tell. I'm going to put the nut back on and not thread it all the way, because we don't really need to go that much further down. We don't want to booger up the threads on here, on the stem. So don't try this at home. There she is. Now she's free. I don't think I heard anything. Sometimes you have to resort to caveman style to get things done. Oh boy. Now, I think we'll be putting some new bearings in there. We do have those available on the website. Genuine Timken. I wonder if this bike was parked in the rain. Well, I guess since we're going to put new bearings in, we might as well go ahead and remove the races. So let's grab some tools to do that. Okay, in order to get these races out, you can't really use a punch. Well, I guess you could if you didn't have the tool. Tell you what, we'll show you the tool on the top and we'll try to remove the bottom one with a punch and see what happens. This is the tool. This is what it looks like. It's got this little lip and it's two pieces. And you simply insert it so that the lip is under the bottom of the race, one on each side, like so. And then you'll notice there's a gap. Well, then you have this special driver handle. I haven't used that one a couple times, have I? And then you're going to bring this up through here and you're going to put the center of the driver handle through those two pieces, and that's what keeps them up against the race. And then you're going to take your hammer and there she goes. Look at her. Simple. Okay, race out. Now I can kind of see, I guess maybe you can use a punch. I don't know. Let's try it and see what happens. I would think that your punch needs to be pretty square on the end. You don't want it to be tapered or it won't catch the race. So let's give this a shot, because I guess not everyone has that fancy tool I just used. And with a punch, you're going to work it side to side. Well, not catching that side at all. Ow! Son of a gun, the tool works way better. I think part of my problem you're going to work it side to side. That punch stinks. Is she coming out? Hard to tell. Well, it looks like it might be. Let's see if we got a better punch. So I took this out of the grinder and kind of dressed the end of it to make it more square. Let's see what happens here. There's not a whole lot of edge showing there. Oh, that's way better. Still only seems to be catching it there. You got to work it side to side so it comes out straight. We could have taken out 3 or 4 of these by now with the correct tool. Yeah, she's coming out. This side here's the side that I can't hardly get the punch on. So yes, it is possible to use a punch if you don't have the fancy tool. Hey guys, a little field trip here, Saturday Sportster. We're over at our friend Colony's shop. We're going to use their hydraulic press to get the stem out of the triple tree, the bearing off the bottom, because we don't have one. All right guys, we're going to show you the proper way to remove the lower bearing from our triple tree. Some people think a chisel's the way to do it. It's not. You can't just slide the bearing off. You must use a hydraulic press. We're going to press the stem down. Bearing will come off. And then we'll slide it off the top. And then after we get the trees powder coated, we'll show you the proper method to reinstall the bearing after it's been re-greased. All right, safety first. Safety glasses job. Okay, we got these flat plates of metal that I put at a certain place so that the stem will come out the bottom. And I've already tried it once and I could tell that it was kind of pushing it this way, so I added this other piece of metal. You want to center this there. I've got the bolt in the top to protect the threaded portion. And let's give it a go and see what happens. And would you look at that? You'll notice there's a fine machined step on the bottom of the stem. So we really didn't need a chisel to get that off now, did we? So then I'm just going to go ahead and remove my top nut. And there's our bearing. No chisel required. So that's all there is to it, gang. Piece of cake. Woo! All right, let's go ahead and we got to get our brake disc removed from our wheel. And there's a hubcap on the other side we're gonna take off. And silly me, completely forgot, since this is an 03, we have sealed wheel bearings. Earlier bike has a dust shield, a seal, and repackable tapered Timken. There is a special tool for removing these bearings. It's an expandable collet. Slips down in, you tighten it up, and you pull the bearing out. Well, we don't have that tool, so we're gonna take it over to the local shop and get that done, because we don't wanna wait for the tool to come. T40. In the off position. And sometimes what I would do with the wheel is put it in the wheel chuck to hold it while I break it free. If you got a breaker bar, that works pretty good. I'm gonna use my long, oh, look at that. What the heck? I'm not quite, oh, dinner bell. There we go. Sometimes these can be a real bear. This one seems to be coming off pretty easy for as corroded as we found. Some of the stuff on this here motorbike has been kind of corroded, like the rims aren't in the best shape. So one of the reasons why we're gonna go ahead and get them coated. And I just think it's gonna look really good black too. So just take those 5. And incidentally, Harley-Davidson recommends that you do not reuse brake disc bolts. Back in the day, see there's blue Loctite on it from the factory, see that? Back in the day, there was a bulletin that said it was okay to reuse them once. A few years later, they changed their minds and said, one-time use only. And that's that. Piece of cake. This particular wheel, since it's a single disc, but this wheel could be used on a dual disc application. So it's got this little metal hubcap to cover up the ugly holes that are on here. Oh. See, if you set it up on its edge, you get better leverage to break them free. And since we have to go over to the shop to get the tires removed anyway, we can just have them go ahead and remove our tires and take the wheel bearings out at the same time. We'll get our rims back and we'll be ready to take them over to the powder coater, along with our triple trees and our lower legs. And whatever other parts we decide to powder coat. See how ugly that looks without the hubcap on there? Got these spots where stuff can get in there. Okay, so that's that. All right, we're gonna do a couple other jobs. We got a bunch of work to do on this bike. So I think we'll go ahead and install our new races while the bike is sitting in this position. And then when we get done doing that, we're going to go ahead and take the back wheel off so we can get the brake disc and the drive pulley off that, because we are putting a belt to chain conversion on this bike. And just keep moving forward. Utilizing our bearing race and seal installation kit. Pick out the one. We got new bearings here. Genuine Timken. It's always a good idea to keep these together, so I'll go ahead and mark the box. I'll put the bearing back in the box and mark this one bottom. I doubt if it's really a huge deal. But basically you're gonna pick out whichever one of these fits your race. And see how this has a bevel on it. And this has a bevel, and this is soft aluminum, and this is hard steel. And that's what you're gonna use to drive that race back up into the frame, along with a big hammer. So this doesn't go jumping around the thing here. We'll get this out of the way. And let's just get to it. You do want to try to make sure it's going in straight. If it gets cockeyed, that makes it a little more difficult. Usually, when you're doing this job, you can kind of hear a difference in tone when it gets to the bottom. But I can see that's done. See how easy that was? When you have the right tool. Not a very expensive tool, very handy tool. Comes in handy for lots of things. It's also for installing seals. You can take this off the here and flip it over and use the flat side if you're installing a seal. So we'll lower the lift down and do the top one. All right, let's go ahead and get the top one in there and be done with this portion here. And then when we get our stuff back, we'll be ready to go. There, that time I heard the difference in tone. And that's all there is to it. New races in preparation for our new bearings and our freshly coated trees and all the other fun stuff we're gonna do. Woohoo! All right, I gotta say, I'm really getting tired of this darn coil hanging around up there. So let's go ahead and tackle what should be a simple job here. We're gonna put this gas box top motor mount. It has coil relocation, so we'll be putting our coil here, and our stock key switch is gonna go there. Let's see how this job goes. There's the new bracket. Obviously it's gonna go like right here like that. And that's gonna put our coil here and our key switch here instead of up here. Now, we'll go ahead and take the key switch and the coil off the stock bracket first. And it looks like we're gonna need a 7/16 and an Allen wrench. Boy, does that fastener look weird. It's all weirded out. I'm fairly certain that's the right size, but it sure doesn't want to go in there. We just got some more scruddiness going on, that's all. There's a mouse in there. Huh. Goodness. Oh boy. Whoa! Huh. Boy, that's an awfully long bolt for that job, Harley-Davidson. Okay, we got that off of there. Now there is a special tool for this. I could seem to find it in the toolbox, so we'll just use some channel locks. Oh, that's not even tight. So you're gonna unthread this ring, take this silly plastic chingle off of there. That also has, oh, more stuff in there. Look at all that junk. Okay, we're gonna save that. Okay. Clean this off just a bit. Oh boy. So we got two 7/16 fasteners there, and it'll be hanging out down here. So now our coil won't be hanging out up here in front of the engine, it'll be hanging out down here. And you got this little plate here. It's got some threads on it. We'll see about if that's gonna work out or not with the new bracket. There's our old bracket. All right, let's see what's going on with this here. That doesn't seem like it's gonna be long enough. Let's see if this wire is gonna be long enough, or we're gonna have to switch to plan B. Well, that looks like it'll be long enough. Okay. Now, this switch has two flats here. It doesn't go on those two flats, it goes on the body itself. She's a very tight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a small file and I'm just gonna take some of that finish, the black finish off of there to fit this to this, because it just doesn't seem to wanna go right. So we'll give her a quick file job. All right, so I got a small square file, and I'm just gonna take that finish off of there, see if that makes it fit better. Being careful not to bash my file into the other side of it. So I took my square file and did the flat portions, and then I used a rat tail and got this black coating off of the hole. Let's see if she fits now. Oh yeah, that's better. Now, I'm thinking it's gonna be pretty difficult to get to those two bolts on the back. So we'll go ahead and bolt the bracket on now and put the switch on after the bracket's attached to the motorbike. So keeping with the theme, we got some shiny bolts. So we get 2 bolts there. I got some nice hardened washers on there, as opposed to the cheap Harley washers. Seem kind of thin to me. And then we've got this little chinga here that's got 2 nuts all hooked together. Look at her, and that goes in behind here because it would be kind of difficult to get up in there with 2 nuts. And then we've got 2 more shiny fasteners. That probably no one's ever going to see, but that's okay. Oh. Okay, let's get a tool on the job. Regular Allen wrench with a ball end. Be nice if I had some 3/8 drive ball Allens, but you can't have everything. There we go. Go ahead and tighten these up all the rest of the way. And if you've got a Sportster or a Big Twin Evolution, probably not a bad idea to check these bolts occasionally, because when I was doing service work on a regular basis, I was finding these 2 on a Big Twin. They have a hex head. I was finding them loose when I was doing service work. So I made it a habit of always checking those. Click. Don't overdo it on these. Click. Oh, that looks pretty trick. All right, let's give it a whirl and see if she fits good now. Okay, comes with a ring, and you need to put that ring on there first because you need to take up some of the space on this portion of this, because if you stick it in there like that, you can't tighten it down. So we'll put the ring on. You gotta kind of hold her at an angle, and then you gotta get your wire in the right place, and then you gotta get your mouth in the right place. Ah, there we go, got it. Viola, look at her. We got her. That's nice. Okay, coil. Oh, not long enough. Guess we're gonna have to, we'll slice into this housing, and the wires are going this way, so we should be able to move them over that way. I'm gonna go ahead and just bolt the coil onto the bracket, and then we'll figure out the wires afterwards. We're going to reuse the stock plate that goes on the bottom and the stock bolts. And you're just going to put it through the top. Oh boy, the piece already got weird on the bottom. And get that started. There she goes. And get our other bolt in. And once one's in, the other one should go pretty easy. there we go. Oh, look at that. That looks way better. And we just happen to have our 7/16 from when we took it off the other bracket. Beautiful. Look at that. Key switch, coil relocated. Let's get these wires straightened out. Well, it looks like our VOES switch is just dangling by a zip tie, so let's cut that off. And here's where that goes. We'll go ahead and put that back where it was. Turn that, chinga that away. All right, so we'll just utilize a razor blade, and that thing's kind of in the way, so we'll cut that right there first. Oh boy. Okay, now we're going to very carefully, I went ahead and stripped some of the housing off there to gain some room on these. And that housing's looking kind of scruddy. So we'll clean that off real quick before we plug in the coil. Seems like a lot of the wires, look at that, on this bike were very dirty. Very dirty, look at that. Okay, so I can see now that I've cut away at this, that this white one with the black tracer is going that way, and it's going that way, so that's about all we're gonna get out of that one. So, luckily that one was plugged in on this side. Let's see if we've got enough on this one. We'll go ahead and go through here. Oh yeah. We'll just go from under the bottom here. That should be plenty long enough. There we go. That's that one. And we'll go through the same place with the other one. There we go. All right, I went ahead and took some electrical tape, some good quality 3M electrical tape, and kind of tidied it up a little bit where I cut into that to get some more length on these wires. I added a zip tie back here for now until we get our gas tank on. And I moved the horn wire because we're not going to have a horn. It was down going this way. I kind of routed it that way just in case we change our mind later and we want to put the horn back on. And I also just noticed by the time the headlight gets put back on, that's going to relax those wires that are going to the coil just a little bit more so they won't be kind of being pulled on. And I also sent the VOES wire that away. So that pretty much covers, we do have to put some spark. We're going to make some new spark plug wires because obviously the ones that were on the bike originally would be too long, because it used to go from all the way up here to all the way back here. And now we're just going from here to here. Boom. So we'll make up a new set of spark plug wires. We'll do that a little bit at a later date. So let's go ahead and get this baby turned around out of that wheel chock so we can get that back wheel off because it's going to the powder coater too. A little bit of backyard engineering here. We got the back wheel off the ground. I know it looks pretty crazy, but we're just doing whatever we can to get this wheel off of here. And once we get it off of there, probably put the bike onto a rolling cart, or we'll do something different. The whole problem is with Sportsters, they're not very flat on the bottom. They don't like to sit on a lift all by themselves with no wheels on them. So let's get the wheel off of here. We got her tied down in the front. We got some stuff underneath it, so hopefully it'll be okay. We'll find out in a second here. Axle out. Belt off the pulley. Brake. Spacer. Brake off. Like so. Wheel off. All right. She seems pretty stable. Okay, we got to get our brake disc off. T45. Oh, that's tight. Oh, that's tight. Oh, that's tight too. Oh, they're all tight. Imagine that. Oh, got him. Oh my goodness. I think we got a little bit of corrosion going on here, folks. Okay, ain't nobody got time for all that. Brake disc off. Okay, while we're on a roll with the air gun, we'll go ahead and take the pulley off too. Oh, there she is. Okay. Finito. Okay. Next stop. Get these front and rear wheels over to the local motorcycle shop where they can take the tires off, get the bearings out. We'll be ready to go to the powder coater. Woo!